There's never been a single good Netflix video ever. Video, movie, TV show, whatever, ever, with another video. And if you can see the thread or the video title, I mean, you can kind of figure out where we're going with this. The series You, which is one of the hotter Netflix series that they've come out in the past couple of years. I saw a lot of women posting about it about a month ago. I guess season two came out about a month ago, and I don't know if I can listen to women's recommendations on shows ever again because this is horrible. I'm watching episode one right now, season one, episode one. Right now, I got about 5 minutes left. Um, and yeah, it is genuinely the worst series, or at least the worst intro to a series I've ever seen in all my days. And I can't really compare to anything else because I don't really necessarily follow bad shows like even other Netflix shows I've watched like Orange is the New Black and things of that ilk. Usually they start off good and they get bad. 13 Reasons Why. I mean, the premise of that was interesting. Like, this woman killed herself, and we're trying to figure out why she killed herself and who made her kill herself. All that stuff is interesting, and I can break down pretty much how I think the most of the series is going to go. But I'm just going to break down this in this episode. So essentially, this guy of mysterious background, kind of like a poster paper, just a blank canvas. This guy meets this girl at at a um at a bookstore. I mean, he's a bookstore clerk, and he meets her, and she's just trying to buy a book as people do. And when that happens, he's been like oogling her. I don't know. I don't think it's the first time I've ever used that word. He's been oogling her for about I'd say 5 minutes. In that situation, like he was the bookstore manager, so he saw her walk in, all that stuff. He like ducked behind book books. And try to I guess gauge her with his presumptions of how she was basically, and maybe a lot of the stuff he was saying was true, to some degree. But essentially, this dude becomes an entire psychopath very quickly because he goes from there. He figures out her name. She gives. Here's what I knew this was going to be a messed up series. So she gives him a card just to pay for this stuff. It was a gift card, as we find out later. She gives him a card to pay for this stuff. He assumes that she has cash, but she just gave him the card because that she wanted him to know her name. If that isn't the most batshit crazy premise anyone's ever operated with in the entirety of history. So with that name, he's able to find her on Facebook. I believe it's Facebook. And I think he found her address through the receipt. I think he looked at the receipt and got her address that way. I'm pretty sure that's how that worked. He's able to find her Facebook and her address. I think maybe he found her address through the Facebook. He starts like going down and like basically taking a dump on her for like not being more secure and all that stuff, saying that when we get together, as if it's an assumed future, I'm gonna make sure that you're more secure. And he stalks her over the course of the day, does a series of misdemeanors, if not felonies, and towards the end. I could say all the misdemeanors and all that, but you'd probably wonder, like, why are you even doing a video on how bad this series is? Towards the end, when she goes to a stand up, karaoke night, I guess. She says one of her poems and it flops horribly. He leaves out a little bit early to go catch a train to go back home, and she happens to be drunk off her ass. She goes down there as well. She falls in, and here's how I knew this dude was like a legit psychopath. He was projecting while they were at there, waiting for the train, that phone. So she was texting her boyfriend who was supposed to come out there and didn't. Complete disappointment for person. She was saying that I can't believe that you were there. And he was treating as if she was using the phone like it was Benji, the boyfriend, and that if she could just get rid of that damn phone, his words, that she'd be better off or something to that extent. So they both fall down, her and the phone, fall down to the train tracks. She's like, drunk obviously, so her decision making is impaired at this moment. But she's basically deciding like, how can I get up here and get the phone at the same time? I don't think she could have got back up without getting the phone, She could have got the phone and still died. I don't think she could have got back up. Is what I mean to say. So after a while of looking at her, sit down there on the train tracks while the train is coming, he decided to take action. I think he was trying to eye this in a way that he could get her up, but make sure the phone stayed down there. And at some point, he just comes over there and gets her up anyway. She grabs the phone at the last second, and he he ta- as they go back home, they go together in a cab and all that. He takes her phone away from her. She fell unconscious after he picked her back up from the train tracks, and he stole her phone, um, and just took it. And like I said, there's 6 minutes left in this episode. I didn't finish it per se, but if this isn't one of the least, so basically all we have here is a guy that's a complete sociopath, and we get kind of like little eggs, not Easter eggs, like little clues dropped in from other characters, even John himself, that we can kind of see that this dude isn't his first time being a psycho. Um, Even though a guy was a former parole officer could see it in his eyes, and John or Joe didn't rebuke those allegations whatsoever. And looking into the guy's eyes, listen, this dude, the parole officer, Rick, I think his name was Rick, beats his wife and beats his kid apparently sometimes, and is drunk as hell 24/7. Look into the eyes of this guy, Joe, scared him enough to go back inside and not have nothing to do with him. Now, if a domestic abuser and a drunkard is scared of you, there's problems very deep inside the brain of this person. So yeah, this is be like other than that I guess on paper maybe that's an interesting premise and kind of part of the first third of this episode was kind of incelish, kind of projected that he was put onto this woman he doesn't even know her, or very incelish. He kind of hit on a couple of them, but it was still very incel like. So this incel stalker, criminal essentially, uh, is I guess we're supposed to fall in love with how this is supposed to go. I think it's gonna the way I see. I'm pretty sure they're gonna get them together. And she's gonna find out how much of an inhuman person this guy is. That narrative is not enough, I think, to make anybody stick together with this story. This is a horribly like other than just that premise on paper in execution. This is a incredibly boring story that could not be more just flat. Everything about this is flat. The actress is flat. The actor is supposed to be intentionally flat with the mask that he's a horrible human being on the inside. Uh, but yeah, this is bad. Like, this is it's not. I don't say it's bad. It's just boring. It's boring and bad, maybe. Anyway, that's all I got to say about this. I didn't mean to rant for 8 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you don't watch You. Please, mother God, don't watch You.